If you find yourself at your desk thinking, there is so much to do in my business and I don't know where to start, this message might be for you. If you're wondering, should you be working on your finances? Should you be working on generating leads for your pipeline? Should you be documenting your system so it's all not living in your head? Or should you be doing something else altogether different? Understand something. We're not lazy, but sometimes everything feels important and we end up doing nothing because we can't decide. And that is exactly why I am hosting a live Zoom session on February 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern called LU University Prereqs for Success. In this hour together, I'm going to walk you through the core areas of a well-run creative business. Okay, we're going to go through operations, finance, marketing, sales, and leadership. And as we walk through these different areas, you're going to say, oh, am I up to snuff here or do I have gaps? You're going to say, I feel pretty good here, or no, that's really a spot that I need to work on. And hopefully when you leave this Zoom, you'll have some idea of what your next smartest move should be. Likely, it might be that there's a LuAnn University course to help you take that next step, okay? If there is, great. If there isn't, yay you got some clarity, you're on with your day. So I would love to invite you to come to this Zoom. You go to LuAnnNigara.com/prereqs, PREREQS. The link will be in the show notes. And 2 attendees are going to win a free 5-week LU University course, and every attendee that is there will get a special offer available only to you because you were there with me for this time. So if you're tired of spinning, overthinking, and wondering if you're working on the right thing, I'm hoping that this time together will give you the ideas of where you need to put your time and attention. So go to LuAnnNigara.com/prereqs, and I will see you on February 17th, 2026. Welcome to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today is part 3 of our 10-year birthday series. That's right. It's 10 years in the month of February. In part 1, I shared why this podcast started. In part 2, we talked about the moment consistency stopped being optional and became a responsibility. You remember that moment in your business, I'll bet. And today we're talking about what came next. Because there is a moment in every business where hustle stops being the answer. Right? Not because the work disappears, but because the work changes. And if we miss that moment, we don't just slow our growth, we risk letting down the very thing that we worked so hard to build. So there came a point where the podcast no longer depended on my hustle, but it depended on my stewardship. And that was a shift that I didn't fully anticipate, but truthfully, like literally, with my experience in growing WindowWorks with Vin and Billy, I should have anticipated this. Because stepping out of the weeds doesn't mean stepping away. It means stepping into a different kind of responsibility. And I had done that at WindowWorks. Me and Vin had, taught others to do things that previously only we did. This is normal in scaling a business, but it is the part of growth that doesn't often get talked about quite enough. When I stopped doing every single task myself, what replaced that work was not rest. It was not taking the foot off the gas. What replaced it was bigger thinking. This was the period of LuAnn University expansion. I started asking more serious questions around it. If there were actually literally a business school for creatives, for interior designers and window treatment pros, like a true full-on curriculum. Not a few good courses, great courses. Not a handful of trusted voices, but an actual place where interior designers and window treatment professionals could learn the business side of their business. And when I started asking that question, it changed things. I was no longer looking for people who were just good at the thing and wanted to teach it for personal fulfillment and for the fun and the enjoyment of it, right? I was now looking for people who were willing to commit to it for the long term. Why did they want to teach at LuU? How did this serve their business goals? Because for a true long-term commitment, there has to be real alignment. Not just a this is a fun thing to do together feeling. That feeling and that energy is great. It's enjoyable. But I was looking now for the win-win-win, because the win-win-win is sustainable. Win for you by having a quality instructor who are experts in their lane. Win for those instructors. Their business is expected to be positively impacted by being an instructor for me and LU University and for you. And then the win for me, a university I'm proud of, right? I mean, this is a thing. And so that was happening at this point. Speaking engagements shifted here too. I wasn't saying yes because it looked good or because it was flattering. I was asking, who is this for and why does it matter? You see, in the beginning, it's kind of like in the beginning of your business when you take all the jobs, all the things. You know, in the beginning, the first couple of years of speaking, oh, yeah, you want me to talk about you, blah, 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 right? But now it was, why? Why am I going to this particular one? How and why does it impact my business? Okay. And also an important criteria during this is, how does it shine a light on the ecosystem that we're building at LuAnn Nigara Inc., right? Power Talk Friday, LuAnn University, Chairman of the Board, and later, coming very soon, by the way, Boardroom for Creatives. What was the why? Why and when do I say yes to one and not to the other? Each speaking engagement now runs through this filter first. And what's crazy is, just literally 2 nights ago, my United app told me that in 2025, I took 34 plane trips. And I have to tell you, with complete honesty, when I look back at that year, 2025, there is not one event that I can say, yeah, I didn't need to do that one. Now that it's done, now that it's over, it wasn't really worth it. Because the filter is in place before I accept the engagement. And the filter is working because I have clear criteria on why I say yes, right? And so you can remember this moment, and you need to do this when you're looking at your own potential projects. There was a point when you said yes to everything. And then there's a point, but then you say not yes to everything, but why should it be yes? And if it's not a yes, and if the why isn't connected, it's a sorry. Here's a referral to my friend, right? Now, around the same time, my responsibilities actually started to grow again beyond LuAnn Nigara Inc. You remember, I came from WindowWorks to LuAnn Nigara Inc. And it was like one transition to the other. But around this time, I accepted an invitation to be on the national board at the WCAA as a member, director at large. Okay. And now, all these years later, I'm national president, which is something I am proud of and quite honored to do. And I'm quite pleased to do it. I love doing it. Right. So that added to my plate. And also during this time, Vin and I purchased Exciting Windows, which was another great decision and has become the heartbeat of so many new friendships and relationships and satisfaction for the both of us, in addition to being another yet profitable business under our belt. So I wasn't just building my platforms. I was now becoming responsible for multiple communities, multiple promises, multiple futures. So in this phase, the work didn't get smaller. It just got a little bit crazier, but did also get clearer. As I've explained in the earlier episode in this series, I've always made my decisions with the future in mind. And at this stage, that thinking became paramount, that future thinking. Every decision, not some, were now filtered through the future lens. If I do this, if I build this, if I add this, well, I want to do it in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. And if the answer is yes to those, how do I build it to ensure its viability for 5 or 10 or 20 years from now? And what happens if I build this thing, but I'm no longer in it? Does it go on? Does it end with me? If I don't want to do it when I'm 80, can it go on? Should it go on? Right? These are questions that impact a different way of leading, right? Because at this point, let's be very clear. I'm thinking about my reputation personally and professionally. I'm thinking about the lessons I want to teach and leave behind. I'm thinking about the responsibility that what we do must matter to us first and to others second. And to matter to me, in order to matter to me, let me say, and certainly to others, to you, it must teach, it must inspire, it must help. It must model what it's possible for you and your business as well. And it must feel doable for you, of course, if you're willing to do the work, right? It's this feeling of inclusiveness, of accessibility, and all the things at the end of the day have to be something that I'm proud of, that my team is proud of in every aspect. No yeah buts. Oh yeah, that's good enough, but no good enoughs at all, right? So put yourself in that place. Is your business in that place, right? What are you saying yes to? What are you saying no to? Why are you saying yes? What does it mean to you in 5 years, and 10 and 20, right? Now, you know me. You know me if you've listened to the show for these 10 years, and hopefully even if you've listened only for a year. You know that I love to share the ideas of others. You know that I love to share the stage with others. You know that I recommend others who are better equipped than I am for whatever it is you need. And despite that being in my own DNA, right, at this stage of my business and of LuAnn Nigara Inc. and of this podcast, now is when I also become extremely intentional about paving the way for others who are doing exceptional work. So it's in my DNA to do it. But at this point in my business, we're on memory lane, let's not forget, I start to actively think about this. How can I shine a light on this person here who I admire? How can I create access for this person here who has a really great thing that will help your business? I'm looking for ways to help you benefit from what they do, what they offer, and they provide, right? I've always believed this about business, that a championship team needs a great general manager, right? But it also needs a head coach, a batting coach, a fielding coach, a trainer, a doctor, the equipment manager, right? So I was never the only one who could teach you, interior designers and window treatment professionals, how to be profitable. I was never only the one. I'm never only going to be the one. It takes all of us to do that. But at this stage, I was consciously gathering the pros around me who shared that vision. And now come the books, the Power Talk Friday Experts 1, the Power Talk Fridays Experts 2, the LuAnn Live events, where I've got all of these colleagues on stage, right? There is no room for ego in this layer, this level of leadership. When you truly want the best for others, you provide that, no matter who the answer is for that other person. And I believe this in my core. And I started to actively live this with intention. Now This was also the phase where opportunities were coming fast and often. You know this in your business. All of a sudden, the phone is ringing, bang, bang, bang. Visibility, partnerships, sales opportunities. And this is where the work shows up, right? Just like speaking engagements, not everything gets a yes. I'm asking better questions. You have to do the same at this stage in your business. Does this person stand in the same values? Does this company, sponsor, collaborator align with our mission here at LuAnn Nigara Inc.? Does this consultant genuinely want to teach and empower you or just sell something to you? Okay, so becomes a filter now. And sometimes the hardest no is the one who looks the best on paper. Walking away from visibility or revenue is not always easy. I know it's not, but this is where your intuition, your experience, your research, and vetting come together. Those people in my corner, Sarah Daniele, the former CEO of My Domo Studio, Kate O'Hara, the CEO of O'Hara Interiors, Sandra Funk, Nicole Heimer. My husband Vin. I could list my cousin Eileen. As I'm saying it, I'm thinking of them. These are the people who will, if they hear this, they will go, oh, I remember the time she asked me about this. The time that she said, what do you think about this company, this entity? This is what I know. Do you know anything different? Because at this point, I'm making sure that everybody, to my ability that I can, is aligned with values, right? Because short-term wins are now measured against long-term value. Brand alignment matters more than quick growth. And this is a muscle that you have to exercise, you have to flex, you have to really dig into. Because at this stage of your business, it's going to matter. Okay? Now, one of the clearest places that this shows up in the podcast is in sponsorship, right? I have categories that are sold. I have sometimes stacked sponsors in the same space. And the thing is, I could have put multiple people in the same lane. I could have taken I can't tell you how many times I've turned a sponsor down. That's plain English, what I want to tell you. That's what it is. I've probably turned down more than I've accepted. That's the truth of it. And if I was doing it for strictly money, listen to me, I'm doing this for the money, just like I teach you to do it for the money, but not at the cost of your own reputation, of your own values. And when I tell you I have turned down more than I've accepted, take it to the bank. Because the thing is, when I look ahead in 10 or 20 years, I knew I would not be proud of those decisions. So exclusivity in a category isn't about loyalty alone, but that's important. It was also about trust. And that trust is with you. Okay? It's with you first. And it's with those sponsors second. And trust in the integrity, right? I want you to have trust in the integrity of my recommendations. So just because you can monetize a thing doesn't mean you should. Just because you can sell a thing doesn't mean you should. Just because you can do a project doesn't mean you should. Okay? So if you are racing all the time, you might miss the moments to make these assessments. Who am I working with? Is it a vendor who lets you down over and over? Is it a client who year after year after year comes back but is always ungrateful, condescending, and appreciative? And you see, I didn't just make that scenario up. I have been front row seat to interior designers that have that client. And I've looked at them and said, what are you doing? They always pay, blah, 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 right? Is an employee who disrespects what you've built, how you operate, and how you lead. You know that saying, the 5 people you spend the most time with, look around. What do they look like? Do you like what they look like? Okay? So that's what I was actively doing in this period, making sure as the business grew that the business people that we worked with, the collaborators that we were working with, and that I was doing the best of my ability to vet them against my values, against the vision for where this was going. And really, like what I used to say in my mind is, if the New York Times published a list of all of the people that I am collaborating with, will I be okay with that list? Right? Like, if everybody knew exactly who I was partnering with, is that okay? And a big, wide world of interior design, don't underestimate that, right? There were a lot of no's because I was just like, no, wrong lane, wrong category, not the right kind of people. And I have to say, it might be because I'm at the point of my life where I have a lot of experience behind me and I'm looking at legacy. But I want you to think about that if you're listening and you're 25, if you're 35, if you're 45. Like, who is on that list that's going to be published in the New York Times on the front page? And you're proud of that list? Great. If not, cross some people off because you'll never regret that decision. Now, I want to let you in on a tiny little bit of a secret. It's this sneaky, insidious lie that we tell ourselves in business. After XYZ happens, it will be easier. After XYZ happens, I'll be able to breathe. After XYZ happens, everything will be fine. But here's the truth. There's always going to be a new challenge. And if you learn from your previous challenge/mistake, the challenge will be new and it'll be different. But it's still going to come again, a different one, a different version. And as you grow, they often come with higher stakes. So here's my advice. Stop being surprised. Just stop. Just stop being surprised. Stop thinking it's easier for someone else. Okay? It's not the way it looks on Instagram. I promise you, 1,400 episodes and 19 billion conversations. No one ever, whoever I've met, from Nate Berkus all the way down to Sally Smith, it's not what it looks like on Instagram. Okay? This is business. It's not a vacation. It requires resilience. It requires toughness. It requires smart decision making, not just to grow, but to sustain. And by the way, some things do get smoother. Some things do get easier. And some transitions and some pivots bring relief. I know that, okay? But what I also know, and this is why it didn't surprise me, after decades at WindowWorks, I know there's always another problem around the corner, okay? The thing is, what does get easier is knowing that a new problem is around the corner. You're not going to lose your mind over it, right? You're just like, okay, new hurdle, new challenge. Let's keep it rolling. Okay? So the thing is, please don't be surprised. That's one of the things I noticed is that maybe you have a moment that is a stomach punch or a kick your teeth in moment. And you think it's it. That's it. It's over. I got to give it up. I got to turn it in. I'm done. Power through. You know in your gut, you know in your heart, do you have a business that you can that is worth saving, worth resuscitating, worth giving CPR? Give it the CPR. You'll get through it. We all have our lowest moments. You're not sure? Read my first book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business. There's quite a few low moments in that book, and you will understand that it happens to all of us. But you can get through it. All right. Now, the other thing to tell you is, this all sounds hard, right? Saying no to money and visibility and, speaking engagements and sponsors that didn't align. But that's actually not really the hardest part. One of the harder parts was accepting that my job was no longer to actually prove anything. Okay? My job was now to protect what I had built, to grow it to its potential, to not let it down, to not let you down. Let's be serious, not to let Vinny down. That's a big thing for me, right? So I had built this thing. It was moving and grooving. I'm making decisions. And now all of a sudden it's kind of going. And then it's like, oh, right? I have to refuse the temptation of good enough when with work and commitment, I can go to excellent, right? Think about that. Maybe you're at that point in your business. Where are you? It's not getting it going. It's keeping it going. It's having the understanding that this isn't a startup anymore. This isn't just coming out of the gate. This isn't running around like 1,000,000 miles an hour just to keep it on life support. This is, whoa, it's working. Now I have to protect it. Now I have to lead it. Now I have to guide it. Okay? Because at this point, the vision was unfolding. And now I understood that it was my responsibility to execute on it. And that's when responsibility becomes stewardship. It's quiet work. It's serious work. It's leadership work. And when you reach this phase, the questions change. You stop asking, what do I got to do today? And start asking, what do I have to protect today? What do I have to lead today? What do I have to usher today? You start to ask, what must be designed in this business today? What must be done in this business today so it can live beyond me, right? And now for me, a lot of this phase of my life currently, because we're still on memory lane, is live beyond me because I'm 63 years old as I record this, right? I'm not going to do this for 40 more years, right? But for you, when we say what must be designed into your business, what must be done in your business so it can live beyond you. Maybe for you, maybe you're 30 years old, you're 40, you're 50. And when I say how can it live beyond you, it might mean how can it live beyond you if you go to Europe for 3 weeks? How can it live beyond you if you want to, visit your kid in college in Italy for a month, right? How can it live beyond you if you and your partner, want to walk the Camino? I don't know, right? How can it live beyond you in the day-to-day? I'm thinking beyond me in my lifetime, but it applies beyond you day-to-day. How are you designing your business? How are you putting your systems and process in place? So that all those decisions I just talked about, that stewardship of your brand and of your values and of the people you work with and the people you collaborate with and the things that you do are all representative of the way you do it. Whether it's you taking 3 days off to go on a girls' trip, or you're taking a month off, or some emergency comes in your life and you've got to go and take care of it. How can the business function beyond you, right? All right. Now, in the next episode, we're gonna talk about that. The structures, the systems, and the decisions that allowed my particular business to grow without losing its soul, okay? So I can't tell you how much. First of all, I've gotten many messages, DMs, and emails about this series. So I just, I know it's 10 years and I shouldn't be surprised, but I truly am always grateful for every time any one of you reaches out and acknowledges, an episode that resonated with you, that hit you between the eyes. And this series so far, I've gotten a lot of feedback. I appreciate you. I thank you for being with me today and with me for the last 10 years. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of LuAnn Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or LuAnn University, go to LuAnnNigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to WindowWorksNJ.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.